nice to take some time in Silksong and play the Needolin every once in a while, because okay, we're just gonna leave Pavo for a bit and maybe get a place where we can actually appreciate our music for once. So, the Needolin is cool. I like being able to play music, but if you want to talk about the Needolin's actual use in Hollow Knight Silksong, it is extremely useless. The only main progression blockers that require the Needolin are the melodies you need to get to beat the game, and they would be a big blocker, except you can get every single melody without having the Needolin. You'll just get put into a cutscene that automatically assumes you have it. So yeah, the Needolin is essentially a useless upgrade compared to every other upgrade you can get in this game. The one thing that it's good for in terms of progression is giving you access to the weave nests across Hollow Knight Silksong. And because the weave nests are 2 ways locked, you have to use the Needolin to get in them and to exit them. I've been looking for a way for a long time to enter a weave nest, lose the ability to use the Needolin, and therefore get trapped in them forever. I did make a video where I got Softlock and weave nest Atla, but that wasn't because of the Needolin, that was just because of the lack of a cling grip. The best weave nest to get softlocked in has always been weave nest Karn, because that has sharp dart, and when you get sharp dart, you get a saved location inside that weave nest. Now the question is, how do you get into weave nest Karn and then lose the Needolin while in there? Because that's the only way you can get softlocked. You could try and get the naked crest by going to the slab and escaping, as I've done before. Hold on, let me just pause the video for a second. Can I take a moment to point out how hilarious and nonsensical half of Hornet's sprites look like when she doesn't have her cloak on? In fact, I'm just going to give a short montage of them because I got distracted, and these are incredible. So here you go.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
There we go. I'm very glad I did that compilation. It was incredible. Why did I get on all this anyway? Oh yeah, the naked crest. I would love to use the naked crest to softlock. However, then it's impossible to even get into weave nest Karn. The whole reason I'm making this video today is because I have found a way to get into weave nest Karn with the Needolin and then lose the Needolin while in there, trapping Hornet in the Wormways forever. One of my favorite parts of this softlock is that it has no requirements that are hard to do. All you really need is a simple key to get to weave nest Karn, because I believe it's impossible to get to this side of the Wormways without the simple key. But once you get in here, you just have to get to weave nest Karn in a normal way. However, I do not like making things easy for my video, so I don't have the movement abilities you would want to get to weave nest Karn. All I have is the cling grip, the swift step, the Needolin, and the drifter's cloak. Now, in case you didn't know, that is more than enough to get you to weave nest Karn if you're good at heal stalling. You just want to do this, you don't want to do that, I am sorry to tell you. You basically want to run, jump at the last possible frame, heal, dash. I am actually annoyed that didn't work. That's exactly what you need to do. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna farm Silk and apparently do it better than that. Nothing felt different that time, but yeah, the trick is not that hard to do. As long as you have what I have, that's all you really need to get to weave nest Karn. I have the Needolin here, so I will be entering. And I could say that I will never be leaving, but that is not true, because we will be leaving weave nest Karn at one point, because that is a necessity for us to get stuck in here, as oxymoronic as that may sound. Leaving is very important for Hornet to be trapped in here. Now, part of the reason I gave up on a lot of softlocks in here before was because I always thought about the Silk. You would always need Silk to use the Needolin, and you can come in here without the Silk heart, but the problem is, there's so many enemies, you're never going to run out of Silk. What you will get, as you come in here very quickly, is Sharp Dart. In case you didn't know, it's a Silk skill that I never use for combat purposes, but a lot of people use it as kind of a dash replacement, which is really cool, because it does kind of give you a pseudo dash that requires Silk and doesn't require you to have dash. And I don't know why I did that. It is very nice to have it, but we don't really care about the applications of Sharp Dart for our purposes here. What I want to show you is that now that we have found this area, and we have gotten a save where the Sharp Dart was picked up, we can officially trap Hornet in here. Everything is set in place. All we need to do now is leave this weave nest and go find a bench. In case you hadn't seen my last couple of videos, I have gotten very interested in something called bench storage. And bench storage is something that relies on you having a save in some place in Hollow Knight Silksong where you are not sitting on a bench, like we just did in Weaveness Karn. Now that we are saved in a location where we're not sitting on the bench, we can trick the game into think that that save point back in Weaveness Karn is including Hornet sitting on a bench. And the way we do that trick is by finding another bench, almost sitting on it, but saving and quitting right before we firmly put our butt upon the bench. I chose the bench up here with good old Alchemist Xylitol because I wanted to see my friend alive and well, doing amazing in his life, doing research, getting stuff done, something that will never change in this save file because I will never be helping him. I will be locking myself in Weaveness Karn to essentially save all of Farloom. I think my actions are noble actually. So yeah, what you just saw there was me sitting and before having my butt go on the bench, saving and quitting. And what you may not realize, ladies and gentlemen of the audience, is that I have immediately put my save in its softlock state. It is now fully impossible to escape Weaveness Karn without messing with our save file. And you may say, Kilroy, how is that possible? All you did was save and quit the game. Well, by save and quitting the game in the way we did, we are now in a situation where the game thinks we are sitting on a bench. So we can change our crests, we can change our skills, and we can do everything that is normally allowed on the bench. When you're sitting on a bench in Hollow Knight Silksong, the game assumes you're going to get healed, so now you can heal yourself infinitely. This is a great state for Hornet, you may think. And that is the tricky part. Things seem fantastic. Hornet can heal herself infinitely, she can do everything she wants, except the one thing she has to do to escape here. I can no longer play the Needolin, and that is because we are in a state where the game thinks we're sitting on a bench, but we're not fully sat down. In those first few frames when you're sitting on the bench, you cannot pull out your Needolin, and because that was the state in which we saved and quit from, the game thinks we're still in that state. So we can never pull out our Needolin again, with the game being in the current state it is. We may have it in our inventory, but we cannot use it. So you may think at this point, okay, there's things to do. We haven't given up on life just because we can't pull out the Needolin. What if we just let Hornet die? Instead of giving up on life by giving up entirely, we'll just let her die once, and then we can get our Needolin back, or maybe load in a different area. And while that is a nice thing to hope for, you're going to see soon why it doesn't exactly work out for Hornet the way she may want by throwing herself into these spikes. Welcome back, Hornet. Did you have a nice nap? Did you have a nice afterlife, or whatever the lore implies that's supposed to be? You see, nothing has changed, even after death. Bench storage is still active, which means our Needolin is still completely out of our reach. We have really, well and truly, ruined Hornet's existence in this save file. And it makes me happy every time I say it. I never get over this feeling, you know? It's wonderful to break the game in such a way that you can never escape, and there is no hope for the rest of this save file's existence. What can I say? I'm just a passionate guy. But yeah, what is there beyond dying? I mean, you can try and save and quit again. It does reload your game in a way slightly different than dying. But as I'm sure you might have already guessed, ladies and gentlemen, this does not fix the problem. The problem that exists right now is that we have a hard save file right here where we got the sharp dart. This hard save file has been essentially infected by bench storage because we went out of Weaveness Karn and activated it. So even though we left it to activate it, we've essentially carried the bench's curse with us to this weave nest, putting us in a state where we cannot sit on a new bench to get rid of it, because that is the only way I really know of to get rid of bench storage, beyond, you know, just deleting the whole save file, reverting to a previous save, stuff like that. But that stuff is always in the game, so I'm never really considering that when I'm setting up the Softlock. But yeah, wonderful ending for Hornet this time. It's not as truly terrible as the Putrefied Ducks one, but it's pretty bad. She's stuck in Weaveness Karn with a bunch of worms and spikes. She can do nothing but die or kill enemies. There's pretty much no food here except for the worms, so get used to that, Hornet. And yeah, the Weavers have trapped Hornet by their devices forever. A happy ending, as always. Thank you for watching, everyone.